Yes, we can, sure we can, change the world.
Greetings, young African leaders. This is the YALI Voices podcast, your home for sharing the best stories from the Young African Leaders Initiative Network. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and Google Play, and visit yali.state.gov to stay up to date on all things YALI. And if you like what we're doing here, take a moment to recommend us to all your friends. Please enjoy this special edition of the YALI Voices podcast featuring Marshall Dyton, CEO of Freelance Web Solutions Malawi. Marshall is a 2015 Mandela Washington Fellow, and in this edition of We Are Malawi podcast, he is interviewing fellow Malawian Enelless Pemba. Enelless is an arts and crafts entrepreneur. She uses arts and crafts to help rural women and youth gain economic security by making and selling environmental friendly jewelry.
Dyton and welcome you to the first episode of We Are YALI Malawi podcast. In this podcast, we'll be featuring different young Malawians who are making a huge difference in the Malawian society. These are the Mandela Washington Fellows, YALI Network members and Region Leadership Center participants. The podcast is produced by Premier Multimedia and Consultants in Blantyre. But before I introduce my guest for today's show, I would like to talk a bit about the YALI program, especially if this is your first time to hear about it. The Young African Leaders Initiative was launched by the United States government as a signature effort to invest in the next generation of African leaders. The need to invest in grooming strong, results-oriented leaders comes out of the statistics that nearly 1 in 3 Africans are between the ages of 10 and 24, and approximately 60% of Africa's total population is below the age of 35. Who will empower and lead these young Africans? Who will shape the future of business and entrepreneurship, civic leadership, and public management? In order to answer these questions, YALI promotes 3 models designed to identify and empower young leaders. And these models are the YALI Mandela Washington Fellowship, YALI Network, and now the establishment of the regional leadership centers across Africa. So, in this episode, I have one of the brilliant young girls who have just been selected to attend the 2017 Mandela Washington Fellowship. Who is this young lady?
My name is Enelless Pemba Phiri. What I'm doing is I'm doing Antwaluso initiative. It's an initiative which I founded in 2014. I'm training women to do some crafting and art through recycled things and also through different ways of making art as a way of them to sell and make money for themselves.
So I hear that you are one of the young Malawians who have been selected to attend the Mandela Washington Fellowship in the United States.
Yes, it's true. I've been picked under business and entrepreneurship track, and I'm placed at New Mexico College in Mexico, and I'm super excited to be there because the US has been a place which has inspired me a lot. Like, I've always dreamed of going to US, but I never thought even for a minute that I'll have a chance to go there. So to me, it's a dream coming true because it's something that I've always wanted to be there. I know my life is not going to be the same, and I'm so excited. I feel like I should just fast forward the time, and we're in June already, so that I can go there. In fact, each and every day I'm thinking about US, I'm Googling about the place where I'm going. So other part of me is already there. I'm so excited. I'm super excited. I really can't wait to get there.
Why do you think you were selected? Because I understand there's so many people who applied this year.
I can say it's because they just gave me an opportunity. They just believed in me. They trusted in what I do and believed in my passion. Because at first I was just doing my art and my crafting as my passion. I was just following my passion, but I never had any idea that people can like that. So it's a lifetime opportunity, and it's really an added advantage for me. I can't take it for granted. It's something which I'm going to use it with my all and my power and my energy to make sure that what I'm going to learn there, I'm going to impact in the people's lives, the people that I'll be working with.
How did you receive the news that you have been picked?
I was so happy. I didn't expect it, but a part of me was also expecting that. So I was just in between, but I was so excited. I jumped up and down. I called everyone else, sharing the good news. I was so happy to hear that I was selected.
Now that you have been selected to go to US under this program, what should Malawians expect from you?
When I'm back, first and foremost, I want to launch my Anti-Aluso initiative and start my first cohort whereby I will pick women all over Malawi and then bring them on one side and then train them into entrepreneurship by doing the crafting that I do.
And what could be your promise that your dreams won't be just for 2 months or 3 months after you come back?
Like Anti-Aluso initiative has always been my passion, has always been my dream, has always been my everything. I've planned it for a long time. I don't think it's something which I can just, when I come back, it can just die like that. Because if it can die, it means it can die with me. But I want something which can stay for the rest of my life. So I will do that and follow my dream and fulfill it, making sure that not only me, but many women and youth have really gained a lot out of that. Because that's my plan, and I don't want that to fade away just within a short time. I'll make sure that I work hard and I've imparted my skills which I've learned, making sure that everything else is just the way I want them to be.
You mentioned that you tried at first, but you were not picked, but then you had to try again, and it's when now you have been picked. But there are others as well who have been trying maybe 3 times, but they haven't been picked, and now they are said, I think I will no longer try again. What could be your word of advice?
For those people who applied and they were not picked up, what I can advise you is to not give up. Stay on your zone, do whatever you're doing. As long as you are working hard towards your goal, you can achieve it. Because you're not picked up doesn't mean that you're less priority than others. YALI is just an advantage, it's just an opportunity. So if you're not picked, it's high time for you to work hard towards your goal and continue doing what you're doing by changing lives, making sure that things are changing in your community. And then when luck finds you, you can find out that you're picked next time by YALI. But don't give up, always push on and work towards your goal.
Not being for YALI doesn't mean you are less important than others. It shouldn't be something that should hold you back from achieving your dreams. And also remember that there are still some huge opportunities on YALI online network. There are several online courses from entrepreneurship to energy. All these are waiting for you. Thank you very much, Enelless Pemba, for that great interview. Let's meet again in another episode. Until that time, I have been your host, Marshall Dyton. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you everyone for tuning in to another YALI Voices podcast, and thanks Marshall and Enelless for a great podcast. Be sure to come back for more inspiring stories from young African leaders on the YALI Voices podcast. Join the YALI network at yali.state.gov and be a part of something bigger. Our theme music is Go Happen by Grace Jerry and produced by her friends, the Presidential Precinct. The YALI Voices podcast is brought to you by the U.S. Department of State and is part of the Young African Leaders Initiative, which is funded by the U.S. government. Thanks, everyone.